Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 horror film, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. The film is directed by Andre Overdahl and it stars Corey Hawkins, Liam Cunningham, David Drasmalchian and Chris Worley. Now the film focuses on the ship the Demeter. Now this is the ship that transports Dracula in the novel Bram Stoker's Dracula. They cover it, the journey from his homeland, Romania stroke Transylvania, to London. And this film focuses on that journey of the ship, the Demeter. So Liam Cunningham is the captain. They've got a full crew, and they learn that what they think is a stowaway. They discover a girl on the ship. She's very, very poorly. She needs a blood transfusion. So they look after her. Many of the crew think she's bad luck. And as it turns out, the reason why she was on the ship was she was supposed to be, if you like, the food source for Dracula. He was supposed to kind of feed on her for the journey from Romania to London. However, because she's been discovered by the crew, Dracula essentially has no choice but to rise up and feed on the crew for the journey. It's up to the crew to figure out what's going on and to fight for survival. Right, what are my thoughts on The Last Voyage of the Demeter? Well, I have to say, I thought the trailer for this looked absolutely fantastic. I loved the whole idea of this. I loved the concept of this. We've seen a lot of Dracula films over the years, countless really. We haven't seen many that have depicted the journey, the boat journey from his homeland to London. The most prominent one I can think of, certainly in recent memory, is that BBC drama of Dracula they did a couple of years ago. I think they focused like a whole hour-long episode or so, like on the journey itself. Well, this film focuses on the whole journey, and I think it does an absolutely fabulous job too. I think the director here, Andre Overdahl, and I hope I've pronounced that correctly, has really nailed this film. Now, he's a director with some pedigree. He did Troll Hunter and The Autopsy of Jane Doe, both very well received films. You could argue this is probably his most prominent stroke high budget, most visible film that he has done to date, and in my mind he's knocked it out of the park. This film feels brutal. It's shot absolutely beautifully. It feels authentic, and it just captures that fear and tension and anxiety and vulnerability that the crew feel. So he's captured it visually, and for me, he's captured the atmosphere and the mood of the movie as well. Many people going into this might be going in and expecting a bit of a fun and entertaining film, and while in some aspects it is, you need to prepare yourself for the fact that this film does not hold back. It is incredibly brutal. This is the kind of film where the dogs and the children, don't survive. Most American films certainly, or certainly Western films, they don't necessarily put things like that at risk. Everybody is at risk in this film. So you go into this film fairly relaxed. You come out of it kind of a little bit like a white knuckle ride. I thought they captured the mood of this brilliantly. The portrayal of Dracula itself, I've seen a couple of negative reviews where they've commented that they didn't like the portrayal of Dracula in this film. I loved it. I thought it was feral. It was like this just single-minded beast that just feasted, basically, and he knew he was a superior being and he could kind of just do what he wanted. And I thought the way they portrayed him as just this absolute animal in this film, with very few human traits at all, if any. I thought it was a really refreshing take, I think, on the character of Dracula. I kept thinking while watching it, I wonder, because we all know the story of Dracula, I wonder if at the end they're going to humanise him a little bit. Because that, I think, would have just finished off the film brilliantly. And I'm not going to spoil if that's what they do or not. So I really enjoyed how they portrayed Dracula in this film. I thought it's a mixture of practical effects and CGI, and for the most part it works, especially when you're just catching glimpses of him. I mean, the director does a brilliant job of setting the scene up and building tension. You know, the scenes where you just get like a flash of lightning or a flash of light and you can see him behind a character, this really frightening and menacing portrayal of Dracula just stood behind a character, or with the crew peering through a door and they can see Dracula briefly, kind of peering at them out the corner of his eyes. It's really unnerving stuff, and when you level that with the quality performances that we get in this film, everybody takes the material really seriously and they knock it out of the park and absolutely deliver it, especially Liam Cunningham, who is pitch perfect as the captain, but also, and I usually always pronounce his name wrong, but I'll try again, David Dastmalchian. He is a very, very good character actor. You've seen him in things like The Dark Knight, so on and so forth. And he plays like the second in command here. And he's got actually a really quite nice arc in the film. Initially, he's a pretty harsh and unforgiving person. By the end of the film, you know, you can see him. He kind of humanises his character a little bit by the end, and his performance is just outstanding. Flawless accent, you name it. I think he just does a brilliant, brilliant job. Everybody here, I think, does a really, really good job. You get this real... It almost feels like the movie The Thing, you know, this level of distrust that the crew feel and this level of vulnerability. There's nowhere to hide. You know, they know every time darkness comes, when they actually figure out what's going on to a large degree, they know when darkness comes, they're in real bother, no matter what they can try and do to kind of keep themselves safe. I think the only negative, really, I suppose, is if it was me, I'd take advantage of my time during the day and literally scour the ship from top to bottom to try and find this creature, which they never really did, not to the degree that you would maybe think to do. But, you know, it kind of takes them a long time to figure out what's going on, if you like. At the beginning, they just think it's bad luck. They think the woman's like a bad omen, and then, you know, things start going wrong, crew start going missing, and then slowly but surely the penny drops, and it's only really when this woman wakes up and explains who she is and who he is, Dracula, that they really start, you know, getting on board in regards to what is truly taking place. So it's good, it's dark, it's brutal, it is not what you expect in the sense of it's totally unforgiving in its approach to, you know, the brutality in the film. It's uncompromising, I think, and it's a really effective horror film. I think it's been described, it might have even been the director, I've seen quotes saying that it's almost like 1979's Alien, but instead of in space, it's on a boat. And that's a very, very accurate portrayal, actually, or description of this film. It is, in many, many ways, very, very similar to Ridley Scott's Alien. And for me, it just absolutely delivers. You know, this crew being stalked by this completely unstoppable force. I really enjoyed my time with this one, and I strongly suggest, guys, if you're a fan of vampire films, if you're a fan of Dracula, and you're really looking for like a new original take on the character or the story of Dracula, then definitely check this one out, because I had a really good time with it. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more content on the channel very, very soon.